You're sitting at your parents' dining table for Sunday dinner. You look around their four-bedroom house, the lawn, the driveway, the two cars, the garage, the space, and somewhere in the back of your mind, you start doing the math. You went to college, you got the job, you did what people told you to do, but somehow you can barely afford a one-bedroom apartment, a car payment, groceries, and basic savings at the same time. So you start wondering, what is wrong with me? Here is the truth. Nothing is wrong with you. The economic universe your parents built their life in does not exist the same way anymore. If you keep trying to copy their lifestyle on today's numbers, you could accidentally bankrupt yourself. Today, I'm going to show you why you feel broke compared to your parents, why the math changed, and how to reset your financial baseline without feeling like you failed at adulthood. Let's start with the biggest trap: timeline distortion. When you look at your parents' life today, you are not looking at where they started. You are looking at the final result of decades of work: 30 years of paying down a mortgage, 30 years of wage growth, 30 years of home equity, 30 years of inflation making their old purchase prices look cheap, 30 years of compounding. But you compare that to your starting point. That is the distortion. It makes you feel behind. It makes you feel irresponsible. It makes you think you should already have the house, the car, the furniture, the vacations, and the family lifestyle. But your parents did not start with their current lifestyle. They grew into it. The problem is that modern social pressure expects you to recreate the finished version immediately, and because the numbers no longer work, debt becomes the bridge. Credit cards, car loans, student loans, buy now, pay later, 30-year mortgages stretched to the limit. People are not buying the lifestyle, they are financing the appearance of it. You did not fail at adulthood. The math of adulthood changed while you were still learning how to solve for X. Now let's talk about the biggest reason you feel behind: housing. For your parents' generation, housing was expensive, but in many places, it was still mathematically reachable. A typical home often cost around 3 to 4 times a typical household income. Today, that number is much closer to 5 times income nationally, and in many major cities, it is far worse. That difference sounds small until you actually run the numbers. When the house costs 3 times income, saving for a down payment is hard. When the house costs 5, 6, 7, or 10 times income, saving for a down payment can feel almost impossible. Older people often say, but our interest rates were higher, and they are right. Mortgage rates in the early 1980s were brutal. But here's the part they forget: the base purchase price was lower relative to income. That matters. When rates eventually dropped, many people could refinance, but you cannot refinance the original purchase price. If the house costs $500,000, the house costs $500,000. A lower rate can help the payment, but it does not magically turn a $500,000 house into a $150,000 house. Your parents fought high interest rates. You are fighting high purchase prices. Those are not the same enemy. Then we add education. A lot of parents started adulthood without massive student loan balances. College was not free, but compared to today, public college tuition was dramatically cheaper. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, public four-year tuition could be measured in hundreds of dollars per year. Today, the sticker price is measured in thousands or tens of thousands. So your parents may have started adulthood with a diploma and very little education debt. But many younger people start adulthood already carrying a negative net worth. Before they buy a house, before they invest, before they start a family, before they build any real assets, they are already paying for the right to have entered the job market. That changes everything. Debt delays the first step. It delays investing. It delays saving. It delays home ownership. It delays risk-taking. When you start the race with an anchor tied to your ankle, you cannot compare yourself to someone who started with clean shoes. Your parents may have built wealth from zero. Many people today have to build wealth from negative. That is a completely different game. Now let's talk about the single income dream. For many families in the past, one income could cover a mortgage, a car, groceries, and a basic middle-class lifestyle. Not always easily, not for everyone, but it was far more possible. Today, in many cities, two solid incomes are required just to qualify for the mortgage, not to live luxuriously, just to qualify. Even after qualifying, the payment can swallow the household. Mortgage, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, utilities, furniture, repairs. If you also have student loans, a car payment, childcare, or credit card debt, the budget starts looking like a financial straitjacket. This is why so many people feel broke even with decent jobs. They are not necessarily lazy. They are not necessarily irresponsible. They are trying to buy a previous generation's lifestyle at current generation prices, and the math punishes them for it. A house is not a trophy if the payment turns your life into a prison. To force the old lifestyle to work, people are using more leverage. This is where the debt disconnect shows up. A generation ago, a car was expensive. Today, the average financed new car payment is around the high 700s. Many buyers are stretching loans for 7 years or longer just to make the monthly payment look manageable. Think about how dangerous that is. People are buying huge vehicles, luxury SUVs, and loaded trucks to park in the driveway of homes they can barely afford. Not because it builds wealth, but because it matches the visual language of success they grew up seeing. Nice house, nice car, nice neighborhood, nice vacations. But the outside picture does not show the inside pressure. It does not show the monthly payment. It does not show the interest rate. It does not show the credit card balance. It does not show the stress. Social media makes this even worse. That friend on the European vacation might have paid cash, or they might have put the whole thing on a credit card at over 20% interest. The photo looks the same either way. The financial reality is completely different. The appearance is identical, but one person bought freedom, the other bought a payment plan. Now let's talk about something nobody likes admitting: the invisible parental subsidy. A lot of people are not actually doing it alone. Some people get help with rent. Some get help with groceries. Some get help with a car. Some get help with a down payment. Some get help with childcare. Some get a full emergency fund from family before they even start. There is nothing automatically wrong with getting help. The problem is comparison. When you compare yourself to someone else, you may not be comparing income to income. You may be comparing your solo budget to their family-backed balance sheet. That coworker with the beautiful new house may not have saved the down payment alone. That friend with the new SUV may not be carrying the full cost alone. That couple who seems so far ahead may have had a financial runway you cannot see. This is why comparison is so dangerous. You are comparing your internal stress to someone else's edited highlight reel. You are comparing your math to their appearance. Appearance is a terrible financial advisor. So how do you win? You stop trying to live like your parents in an economy that no longer has their numbers. That does not mean blaming them. That does not mean giving up. It means getting honest. Maybe you rent longer and invest the difference. Maybe you buy the boring 5-year-old sedan instead of the $85,000 status truck. Maybe you choose a smaller apartment to protect your savings rate. Maybe you stop treating homeownership as the only proof that you are an adult. Maybe you build wealth quietly before you build the lifestyle publicly. That is not failure. That is strategy. The goal is not to impress people at Sunday dinner. The goal is to wake up without financial anxiety. The goal is margin, options, freedom, control over your time. If your life does not look exactly like your parents' life at the same age, that does not mean you are behind. It may mean you are finally playing the right game for the economy you actually live in. Like and share this video. Download the free reality checklist linked in the description. It helps you compare housing, cars, debt, savings, and lifestyle choices based on today's numbers, not nostalgia. Once you stop chasing someone else's finish line, you can finally build a life that actually works. See you in the next one.